One of America's four great statements: all men are created equal. And the four are the Declaration of Independence, the Gettysburg Address, the I Have a Dream speech by Martin Luther King in 1963, and now Obama's speech. And this is saying a great deal about this speech, but it is that historically important. And let me just put it in some perspective. Jefferson, with a little help from his friends Ben Franklin and John Adams, laid out the founding ideals. And it's, the sentence: we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights. This was an absolutely revolutionary statement in 1776, but it is the idea on which this country believed to be in America, and we're the only nation on the earth founded on an idea, and this is our idea. Lincoln affirmed this in the Gettysburg Address, and at that point, it's applying to a far greater population. Late in the 19th century, Booker T. Washington was forced to reshape this as a separate but equal under the pressure from the KKK. But then in 1963, Martin Luther King gave a full expression to the idea. And since 1963, all civil rights leaders have been followers of Martin. And you're familiar with these people, Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton. These are people who could always count on a African-American following, whatever they were talking about. They had a built-in audience. Now, Obama has changed both the expression and the reality of the idea. And this is one of the great achievements in American history. Reconciliation has been behind his really meteoric rise. And the speech is replete with the language of amelioration and bringing people together, change, unity, union, common, come together, perfected. This looks like this. From this to that, you get this ideal. A black man from Kenya, a white woman from Kansas. Actually, she was from Hawaii, but we'll see why he kept calling her from Kansas later. Another way Obama looks at this is avoid this extreme and that extreme. And you get an ideal compromise. This is a structure that lies behind all his thought, we'll see, in terms of progress. This is how Obama sees progress being made. And this kind of structure is not one that fits with this notion. I mean, it's just ridiculous to talk about him as the most liberal senator ever and a socialist. This is a guy who's looking for compromise. He didn't deny his relationship with right, the way they always do, our politicians. Bush, is associated with this guy Abramoff who raised all the money illegally for the Republicans and spread it around illegally. So Bush says, never met him. So a photograph appears of the two of them together. Oh, met him once. Forgot about that. Then all of a sudden there are eight different meetings there are photographs of. Oh, well, we weren't close. It's this kind of business that you get over and over again. Well, Obama doesn't do that. He embraces right and condemns the words. This is a much more sophisticated thing than we're used to. The great advantage of starting with the Constitution is that implicit in it is this idea of change toward a more perfect union. And change, of course, was the theme of Obama's campaign. But more than this, Obama was for 12 years a professor of constitutional law at the University of Chicago. The Constitution, he says, establishes a framework by which all Americans can have a conversation. And the conversation is one that we must always have, and through it, we must find the right course for the country. And we must, by this conversation, reach compromise. The only time we failed was at the time of when we had the Civil War. You know, Americans must find compromise. That's what he's saying. That's crucial to his beginning point and to his understanding of the world. And this, of course, goes back to the structure we looked at earlier. And he emphasizes this importance of the Constitution by not only giving the speech in Philadelphia, but giving it in the National Constitution Center, right across the street from where the Constitutional Convention was held, in a hall that still stands across the street, he says in his opening sentence. And he is saying he is the candidate of E pluribus unum. It's very clever stuff. Obama is very smart. He is smart and able beyond anything we've seen in a long time. Two great campaigns I've seen were Kennedy's in 1960, which is extremely well organized, and Obama's this year, which was brilliantly organized, which took everything we knew in American politics to a new level. This is an extraordinary moment to be teaching American history, because you can go home, turn on the television, and see bits of it. You know, it's being made, and our country's being changed before our eyes, and we and your students will be witnesses to this, and there'll be a framework. And the other thing is that the web makes so much of this stuff available. So you can just go and listen to the speech of Obama's. You know, it's not, you just have to read it. You can go listen to it. It was an important speech on March 18th. On November 4th, it became an extremely important speech. This is our future.